Right, evening all. Let's get going. Right, majority of you know by now I've given me plot up. This is the person who took it over from me.
Behave yourself.
As you can see, she's into vegetables. I'm trying to get her into Gladys as well. Nature. Get a good photo in nature. I'll nick it and I'm going to give it you. Look at that. Superb. That's got to be a bit of weight to carry about in it. Gordon Bennett. Next one. You know what they're on. I think I've put them on before. But love them. That's another one, a tomato somebody put on. Just like a tree in it. All the branches,
Fantastic.
the veins going to the seeds. Love it. Superb. Right, I needed some more mushroom trays, as we can see there in the skip. I need them to put my mate's Gladys in for drying them off. So I just legged it into the skip and I got all my trays out. Needed a bag of ericaceous compost. I went and saw a man during the week, about 4 pallets of clover compost for our trading sheds for next year. While I was there, I got a bag of ericaceous. That's for me blueberry later on, which we will cover. Right, this is Pomona Fruit. I've used these quite a few times for a few things. Every year they put something on new, like if you see on the left, family trees. Like a normal cordon fruit tree. It's from the main stem basically. You get your fruit from, like as you can see on the right of the picture. People who ain't got much room in a garden or live in a lighthouse or a block of flats can still grow your trees. Now these family trees now, it's 3 varieties grafted onto one tree. These are selected so they self-pollinate each other, which is even better. For somebody like me who just wants me, obviously I still want to eat my fruit, but all my fruit trees, they're all late developing, meaning for our show. So if they ain't no good to show, then obviously I'm going to eat them. But I thought I'd share that with the troops. And this is our own Jerry Edwards. This is the Ruslip grape barn. He was judging some fruit, as we can see there. Nice bunches of grapes. I don't get grapes like that. Gordon Bennett. Nice bit of weight on them and all. There's he's doing his apples and his pears. I did another talk at Shrewsbury last week. This is the first talk they've had since the start of the pandemic as well. In fact, most of the talks I've done lately are enjoyed by all. This was a raised bed talk. Enjoyed by myself as well, as I ran out of good stuff log. I had to go back to the van to get the spares out. Because there was all allotment tiers and part gardening club. Them proper gardens, not just a gardening club where most of them are just old dears who just come out for the day out. Meaning these lot, the gardeners. Once I'd introduced my stuff, introduced the products, then they bought them because I knew they was going to shed. But enjoyed it, so did they. In the end, it was a good turnout. It's a full house. Right, if you remember these tubs I had from Wilco, I think about 3 weeks ago or something, I put these on. Nice heavyweight, frost-free, perfect for my fruit trees. They've run out now down Wilco, can't get them anywhere. All of them run out. That's how good they were. So get me mat out underneath, catch all any drips. If they are well, them root bound anyway, usually. So they come out in one lump. And there's my mould. I'm just getting I think it's about 3 inches short, but at least I can pack it from the sides and fill the bottom in. Obviously the hole in the bottom, I'm going to cover that so my compost doesn't come out. Put my little chap in, hold him upright and then start filling him. I've got the level I need him, and I'm looking like that side on and this side on, meaning there I've got it upright a little bit. I know I'm going to prune him later on when he's finished to the shape I want him, but at the moment I still want him upright. So you can see all the old fruit. That, yep, obviously that one was from last year when he was in the road. There we are, all done. All I've got to do now, and he's okay that way as well, is give him a nice watering. And this is where I'm going to place the chap, because I can still get at everything around the back there, that way, and from this way. It's just utilising space again, because there's nothing up there. There ain't even a seat up there. So, perfect for him. And he gets the sun in the morning. Loads of daylight, although it's not sunlight. Daylight is still good. So he's had a good watering. I had another tray come, the recycled plastic raised bed. This is the last one now for up the side. And I've managed to squeeze him in there. So altogether now I've got seven of them raised beds. And we'll be filling them up later on. Another delivery, fruit trees. These are me gooseberries. Late fruited gooseberries. These are Hino Maki. Sounds Japanese, I thought it was Japanese, but they're not. Them from Finland. There's one green and one red gooseberry. As I mentioned before, late fruiting, that's why I've got them on our show. The cock up when I add them, well, go back on that one. I'd put one in the bottom and put the other one on top on it, meaning you push that bottom one over. Not very good of them, as we can see there. Obviously he started off upright, now he's on a bloody slope. At least it didn't snap, otherwise they'd have had a nice email. So sorting them out, and that little chap there, when I started getting the paper off, I will zoom in so you can see it. Bloody caterpillar. I thought thank you very much, so I got rid of him. I had a look at both plants, and he was the only chap who was on there. Right, to get the one that was a bit lopsided, to get him in level, I've got to put the pot in on a skew, if that makes sense. So I've got a spare pot the same size. Luckily, because I use them pots me onions. Once they in, a good watering. So there's the one that's gone at skew if. These two pots, these were florist buckets, obviously from the florist. These are deeper ones than what I use for me carrots. Them are proper florist buckets, but these long ones, these were perfect for my Gladys. I'm transporting to the show, because them nice and tall, less chance of them falling over, and they stick up better. So I'm using these two for the blueberries. Obviously there's no holes in, so I've got to put a bit of drainage in. So there's my spare pot. So I'm filling these up with a good brew. This is a mixture of quite a few things. So it's got good drainage, good bit of muck under it. I'm going to put muck under them anyway. Bit of wood chip on the bottom, so that's going to break down eventually anyway. Natural product, which is perfect. And I'll start building it up with all my mixtures to the height I want him. And once I get just under that height, and that's when I'm going to put the manure under there. So he's got goat and rabbit muck under him. Perfect. Got a big, any fruit you bung out, put a bit of muck under them. Right, as you see, you start getting a bit root bound, so he needed potting on anyway. Right, now he's going upright, the way he's supposed to go. Up to the top, perfect. I've then cut the supports on, which was holding this lot together, and open these up a bit. Right, top of the garden. I remember I got the greenhouse here, and this is my first raised bed. That's where I had my blanch and intermediate leeks this year. Them have gone for next year. I ain't doing them again. Plan B. Right, that bit of space there, I'm going to utilise that as well. And the end of that, that's up that end there. So the end of this bed as well. Exactly the same again, I'm going to use that space there. So if there's anything in there, I can still get to this bed. So I'm just getting all the ground I can use. Right, chaps are potted on, need a good watering. The good thing about these, we're just a decent brew in it. The water goes straight through. Last one we got a pot on. This is one that's a bit of on the angle, just to get him upright, which we've done there. Give him a good soaking as well. Saw this chap on I think it's in Indonesia somewhere. I thought beautiful colours on it, so I'll share that with the people. There's another two chaps. These look like leaves, but they use sunlight. That's how they get their feed. And it's like a little sea urchin, something like that. But I thought another nice piece of nature. And there's somebody done a bit of carving out of a pencil. God, you've got to have patience on that one. I think I'd have cracked up. Colin.
Oh,
First guest speaker.
right.
Colin Amazon Stokes. All yours, sir?
I forgot what I sent you. Oh, right. Compost. This is my first prep compost, emptying out. I'll put my method. It's not the same as mix. I just bung everything into this. This is a metre cube cage, just over. Everything goes in there, and then periodically I turn everything out, get into the middle of it, and then put the middle of that compost into the next bin next to it, which you'll see in the next photo, hopefully. There you go. So this is the second bin. The middle of the first one comes into here. You can see it's already in good condition. I shall keep backfilling this until it's right to the top, and then I'll give it a good watering, cover it up, and leave it for however long it takes to break down. And then when that's ready, I'll empty this out into the next one, which you'll see on the left, hopefully. There, that is the finished compost that's ready to use. I'm spreading it all around my shrubs and borders at the minute. Looks quite a bit there, but when you start spreading it out, you soon get rid of it. But I do this certainly twice a year. I have done it 3 times a year in the past. So I'm making quite a bit of my own compost throughout the year, and it's really good stuff. I don't put anything in to break it down. Well, I tell a lie. I might put a couple of handfuls of sulfate of ammonia in the first one, just to begin the process. But that's all that goes in it. And as I say, I'll get at least 2 of these a year, possibly 3, depending on how fit I feel. Because as you can imagine, it's quite hard work. But I do get some nice compost. And the best part about it is that I used to put this as a no-dig method on my allotment, and I found that it had got all the nutrients in that it needed. I didn't have to feed anything. It was amazing. It really is a good method. Especially using the no-dig method, which I don't now because I just can't. I haven't got the energy to do any digging. Emptying my first big one. There's a little chap. I think I disturbed the nest, and I don't know if I've sent a video, but this little chap kept coming out She was racing round and round and round as though she was looking for little ones. And then she disappeared and kept coming back again. So I didn't see any little ones. But she was either looking for little ones or the nest that I'd disturbed, because she was obviously running around in a panic. But you know, there's nothing I could do. I didn't know she was there until I tipped it over. That's the original compost bin. I don't know if I took a video of the mouse running around. I don't know whether I sent it through to me.
Yeah, it didn't download.
Didn't download, no.
Just stuck on the picture.
Yeah. There's the second compost bin full now. So I should just wrap that up, put a date on it. And as you can see, it's good stuff already. This is the stuff that's come right out the middle of the first compost. And this bay is it's a metre long by something a little bit. It's about 3 foot wide by not quite 3 foot deep. About 2.5 foot deep. So and it stands about 3 foot as well. So it's probably 4 foot actually. So I don't know what cubic capacity there is there, but it's quite a bit. Right, this is the project for this autumn of lawn maintenance. Started to scarify. It's a bigger job than I anticipated, because I haven't done it for the last year or couple of years because of ill health, etc. So I started to scarify it. A weapon of choice for that, well, it's coming up in a minute. But there you go. You can see how much stuff is coming out. Carry on, Mick. There you go. That's beginning.
Good, I'm still struggling.
I think I got about 12 barrel loads of the stuff out, and there was still more left in. But what I use there, you'll see it in a minute. I use a little mantis tiller with a scarifying unit on, and you just pull it backwards gently, and it gets right down into the and that's where then I'd scarified it, cleared all the scarification out, and then I went over it with the mantis tiller. I've got 2 slitting wheels. And I went over the scarified grass, and that is after I'd slit it. So you can still see it was throwing up thatch.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff, all on the compost heap. Give it a good soaking, and that'll go down to nothing eventually. Or put it back. There's my mate George coming to see if I'm doing a good job. Yeah. And I think that is now as it was after I'd rolled it. I'd overseeded it, scattered some seed in, rolled it over with my lawnmower just to get the seed into the slits, and that's there ready now, waiting to revive itself. And you'll see in a couple, because this was done probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. Got the sprinkler on, give it a good watering. You can see it's beginning to green up already. And there you go. And then I had a devastating project which we'll come to in a minute. But the plus side of it was that I got a load of topsoil out of one of my raised beds that I decided to use as a top dressing on the lawn. So this is what I'm doing here. I've sowed it, pressed it down, and now I've just top dressed the whole lawn and rake this compost into it.
I'll get your tea in a minute. I'll get your tea in a minute.
Right, 2 sugars, please.
Can you mute yourself, please? Who've just come in?
Oh,
I'll have a tea now.
2 sugars.
Yeah.
Carry on, Mick. There you go. And I think this is now the I think this is the new growth coming along. It needs a little bit of a trim now, to be honest. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Carry on. Right, this is, oh dear, this is devastation. I'm 81, I'm still making mistakes. It's probably one of the biggest mistakes I've made in my life or in recent years. That was the setup that I had. And we decided that we wanted something that looked a bit better. So we went down the road and getting somebody to build us some raised beds out of railway sleepers. So chap in the pub says, well, I've got a landscape company, we'll come and do it like you, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, ultimately, they come along with the railway sleepers and carry on, Mick. Started to build the new beds. Looks not too bad there, actually. What you can't see, carry on, Mick. Right, what you can't see is that the railway sleepers are like bananas. That is approaching 3/4 of an inch distance sideways from the top sleeper to the bottom one. If you can imagine, it's just bent, which we weren't very happy about. Carry on, mate. And there's a different one. It just shows you how much of a bend it is. These sleepers were French oak, untreated French oak. I'll tell you the cost of them later. But as you can see, they're not very good quality. There they are, progressing towards the finish of the project, which doesn't look particularly pleasing to the eye, I don't think. But what we realised was that the clients on the right-hand side, this piece of ground here, from the greenhouse down to here, down to the right-hand side of the picture, there's a slope, right? So instead of levelling the slope, what they did was the right-hand side of these beds, you can see on the middle one, there's a gap. What they've done is they've just laid, yeah, you can see it. What they did is they just put 3 house bricks, 2 at each end, 1 at each end and 1 in the middle to get the level. This is on cultivated soil, so you can imagine the weight over a period of time. That'd just be like the Leaning Tower of Pisa once you had the downpour. Carry on, mate. There you go, there's one of the bricks. Anyway, subsequently, we had a look at it and I said, sorry, I'm not satisfied with that. I don't like the look, don't like the quality of them, don't like how it's... So anyway, cut a long story short, this was done on the Thursday and the Friday. I spent all day Thursday doing it, spent 3.5 hours on the Friday doing it. Spoke to the chap over the weekend and said, I'm not happy, come and take them away. They come on the Monday morning at 8 o'clock and by 9:30 the site was cleared. So that is, carry on, mate. And that is after it's all been cleared and they've gone. So that is, it's not quite that. And all this pile of soil here that you can see that was in the raised beds is what I used to top dress my lawn. And what I intend to do now is to level this off, paint the fence for a start, and just extend this as part of the ornamental garden. To the right of here, just to the right of the green netting, there is another raised bed which I've taken down. And then there's a picket fence, and then I shall have my vegetable garden the other side of the picket fence towards it. So I've effectively halved my growing area for veg, which is fine. I can grow plenty for the two of us in what we've got left. And this will be a nice area to sit in. that's my little propagating area with all my various plants that I pot up and grow on. I've just moved them into the greenhouse to be honest today. I'll move that frame into the greenhouse and ready to keep everything over winter. There's some nice plants there coming on, of various types. These were the last of my tomatoes. They've gone now, but I just took a picture before I took them all down. I think the lad next door, I can't remember, but for some reason I got all my labels mixed up. I'm going potty. I got all my labels mixed up, and these were labelled as oh crikey, can't remember now. But they're not what they was labelled. They were nice tomatoes, very prolific, very sweet, but I haven't got a clue what the names are. Ah dear.
We all do that, Colin.
Yeah. There's one of me chilies. I've had a lovely chili harvest. I don't know what I'm going to do with them all. I just left them on a tray at the minute to dry out. I don't know the name of that. They are named, but there's me attempt at growing an aubergine. That was quite nice. Not very big, but it did the job for a ratatouille. There's still plenty of colour. This was taken probably not more than a fortnight ago anyway. There's still plenty of colour in the garden. Lovely rose. Yeah. And my dahlias coming on. I think that's a beautiful dahlia. I've got them all labelled, but I didn't make a note. I couldn't tell you what they are, but I've got a label on the bottom of them. And that's a variety of tomato. They're beautiful, they are, but I couldn't tell you what they are. But they're so sweet and small. But, I think that one was labelled Moneymaker, which is certainly so I got my labels mixed up. That's me Thalia fuchsia in full flower. I got the timing wrong. It wouldn't have been any good for a show because it was about a fortnight after the date of what the shows used to be. But it's got a massive flowers, or did have. I've chopped it all back now and repotted it. But that was a good. It was a good specimen. That's a 12-inch pot. So you can imagine how big that is. It's almost 3 foot wide. Not quite 3 foot wide, but it's a nice fuchsia.
Is that a hardy one, Colin? Oh, sorry.
Do I do? No, they're not hardy.
Put your hand up, mate.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
No problem.
It's not hardy. Okay.
It's not hardy. You have to keep them. What I've done with that is I've chopped them down now to. I've only left about 7 or 8 inches of the stalk. Took it out the pot, chopped 2 or 3 inches off the bottom, put it down in the pot and backfilled it with compost, and I shall keep that on a heated mat at about 5 degrees through the winter, and it'll regrow again, hopefully.
Oh, good. Good. It's a nice, lovely one, isn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah. They are really nice. They're worth growing.
Yeah.
But as I say, they're not hardy. You have to be careful with them over the winter. It's not a problem if you just keep them sort of frost-free and the bottom's warm. They should survive nicely.
Yeah. Sorry, Jeffrey.
That's not a problem. I just think the tomatoes. Did you get any tomato seeds from me?
I think those yellow ones may have been yours.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the name is, because they were labelled up as, I'm sure it was Moneymaker, which are clearly not Moneymaker.
No, they're a variety. If they're from my seeds, it's just a tomato I liked in a supermarket here.
Yeah.
Took a few home and took the seeds from it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've saved seed from a couple of these now, so I'm hoping that they'll be good. Right, let George out one night to have a wander around, and I thought, oh, that looks nice. This was taken about 11 o'clock at night, and nice bit of colour. And there's still plenty of colour now, but I'm in the process of clearing all these pots one at a time, saving what plants I can for next year, and what can't be saved will go back onto the big compost heap. A big tidy up now in the next couple of weeks. This one, I'm very proud of this. This is my one and only plum off a tree that I planted. This is when did I plant this? This is the second seed. I planted it early last year, and it produced this one plum, which was beautiful, but it was a sole plum. So if I get a dozen of them next year, I should be well happy. Looks nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, corker.
The right shallots. Still got plenty of shallots. If anybody wants any shallots, just give me a bell and they can have them for the cost of the postage. Hated noir. People are selling these on different sides at £1 each, some of them. But I've got far too many, so if anybody wants a few, just give me a message and I'll sort them out. I think that the top one on the left is the ones that I'm saving for myself. These ones in the big orange tray in front are spares for anybody who fancies any. So if anybody wants one, they'll let me know.
Good man.
These are a couple of baskets out the front that I planted these up as because I've got some spare plants left over. I don't normally grow busy lizards because I had a bad experience about 10 years ago. They had a nasty virus, and I lost a whole lot in a year. Apparently the virus has been bred out to them, so I tried them again this year. And I put these couple of baskets out the front, one either side of the garage, and that's the north-facing wall as well. And they've done brilliant. Probably two of the best baskets I've grown this year. Yeah.
That's all I used to grow as bedding years ago until they say they had the virus.
It had a terrible virus, didn't it, Mick? And
Yeah.
I remember I lost the lot one year. I planted them out and they just wilted, and I never touched them again since. But then I noticed last year they'd come back on the market, or
Right.
I noticed them last year. So I thought, I'll give them a go, and they've done really, really well. So I'm thinking about just doing baskets of these next year and not fiddling about with all the.
Have a nice summer bedding.
Yeah. And these are my colliers. The cuttings, I was hoping the chap that I had, is Martin on tonight? No? I'm after some advice about how to overwinter these. These are what I've taken as cuttings from plants in the summer.
You mean Q9?
And I just want. Yes, sorry.
Yeah, you're back
is
on
he
next
on?
week.
All right. If you can put that photograph up for him next week, Mick, and just ask him for advice about overwintering these cuttings, I'll be grateful.
Yeah, no problems.
All right. Yeah. That's just another general view. Well, Mrs. went up to the garden centre and come back with that. I think that's Japanese anemone. And I don't know, she's very, bless her. It was a beautiful plant. 3 days later, all the flowers had gone because it had gone over. Here you are, is my latest Facebook adventure. I've got these for £22.
How much?
£22.
Bargain.
Bargain. There's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Well, there's 10 there, but there was no, I didn't get that round blue one. I got the 9. I got the 9 for that much. It's amazing what you get off Marketplace. People are just want to get rid of stuff. So I shall plant them up and get some bulbs in. What are these? These are my strawberry plants that somebody's given me. So he got some runners, so he bought a bag of runners and I'll potted these up. Do you think these will be all right now with our 4-inch square pots?
Yeah, they'll be all right, Colin. Them.
You think they'll be all right over winter like that?
Yep.
Yeah, just keep frost free.
In the cold greenhouse under the bench, yeah? And then plant out in the spring.
You've got it.
Yeah, I'm going to plant these in. I want to do what you're doing, Mick, and put some baskets up on the wall and grow them up high.
Yeah.
I think Nick Bray did that in the greenhouse as well. Planted them in baskets.
I know I got them up high.
Yeah. I'm going to do that. There you are. There's a shot of the lawn on its way to recovery. You see, it's perking up quite a bit. What we got here? Grow seed. Yes, I've come across seeds. I don't know if anybody uses these, but I've got all these seeds here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's about 15 packets of seeds. All for £1 a packet. It cost me £16.25, and I thought, and there's quite a few seeds in the packet. They're not, So I thought that was quite cheap. Does anybody else use them?
Never heard of them.
No. Yeah, but if you're interested, you might look them up. That was delivered within 3 days of me sending the order off as well, so they're on the ball. But let's see, there you go. There's a picture of the on the road to recovery. Once the mower out, it's been that wet this week. I haven't been able to get on to cut it.
Gladys.
Yes, they're like Gladys, Mick. I put them in as a ever so late, and they've just come. They're still out now. I'm very pleased with them. And what I did was I just dotted 4 or 5 round the garden just to give a bit of highlight and colour. And I noticed one day they was fighting their way up, and these are they're like that now today.
Full frontal of him next week then.
Hey?
We'll have a full frontal of the Gladys next week.
All right. Well, I'll take a photo in the morning and see. I don't know what varieties they are. And there's all my pots. I'm getting through. All these hostas will go into the greenhouse to overwinter. The baskets on the wall, the begonias, I'll empty them out and use the compost for my dahlias. I think just my dahlia tubers, just to get them going. But this has been a nice show, but it's time to cut it all back. I shall save what I can out of the plants. There are plants in these baskets that will last next year, like begonias and fuchsias, etc. So I'll save what I can, and geraniums as well. So we'll save what we can. And there you go. You see, my lawn's fighting back. Look, you can see it's a better green already, even though there's still some little patches that I might have to go and perhaps reseed. These 3 down here in the left-hand corner. Whoops, go back, mate. our grasses, I bought a grass and I divided them up. Now I can't make my mind up whether these are dead or not. They're still upright. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take them, put them into corner, and leave them till next year, and then in the spring they'll decide whether they're alive or not. They don't look very alive.
See if there's any white roots up, and
To me, it's
pick them out the pot. See if there's any white roots on.
there ain't anything at the minute.
And
I did that with one now.
Oh, you got your hand up, mate.
Yes, Colin. I've got that grass in a big pot. It looks dead all the while. It got like a little tail on the top.
Yeah, yeah.
And mine's massive. It
Oh,
ain't
right.
dead.
Yeah.
Not dead. Looks like the same one.
All right. Okay.
I'll take a picture of mine and post it next week to Mick.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's because it stands upright. They're not supported at all. And
No, mine. When the rain hits it, it batters it, but it comes back.
They're quite.
I'll take a picture and send it to Mick.
All right,
Send
mate.
it,
Yeah. 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 I quite like the colour as well, amongst others.
Just pull them on.
Right. There's my last pickings of the tomatoes. You can see all the various sizes. All the tomatoes down the left-hand side of the greenhouse, they were all tiny, small tomatoes. They must have been gardener's delight and the like. But, I did have some bigger ones on the other side. Like I say, oh, there you go. There's finally learned how to tie onions up. I've been following a chap. He's on YouTube. Castle Gardens, and Cliff, his name is, lovely, nice chap, and he demonstrated how to tie a string of onions up properly. So I thought I'll have a go, and that's what I've got.
Brilliant. Thank you, Colin.
No, all right, cheers.
Anybody got any questions for Colin while we got hold of him?
Colin, the big fuchsia in the tub, the one in the tub, which was like you said, it was a foot wide.
Yeah,
How
Thalia.
old that plant?
Yeah.
How old is the plant?
I can't hear you.
How old's the plant? That fuchsia?
Hello?
Oh,
How old is that fuchsia?
How old is the fuchsia, Colin?
Oh, yeah. About
How would he
must be
you?
4 years old.
4, okay.
Can we send a letter in post?
Hey,
We got that, Cole.
I'll keep breaking up, or you keep breaking up. I don't know. There's a bad connection now.
You must be below 20,000 leagues.
Right, first one on the wheel.
If anybody wants any of these,
Lots.
shorts, let me know, please. If you don't, it don't matter.
That's good of you, Colin.
Good help, Nick. That's because he gave me that information.
You treaded some up, don't you?
Cheers, mate.
Nice one, Nick.
You can have your winners at the presentation.
Here we go again. Andy.
Andy, yes, he has. Yep.
Thanks, Mick.
Good man. Right, let's get rid of that one. Right, back to me blueberries. Obviously I've got to weed this lot first before it comes out. And then I've got quite a few bags of wood chip from the plot. So that's where I'm going to bung him. That's why I've used a nice deep pot, because he has brought him up a bit. The sun comes up here in the morning, goes over there, so he'll have a bit of sun in the morning, but on the afternoon he has quite a bit more there. Don't forget, everything down doesn't have to have sunlight. As long as they've got daylight, that makes all the difference. So with that little chap there, what I've got to do, I've put a spirit level on that way to get him nice and level. and then I put the spirit level that way. So he's level all the way around, and then just firmed him in. So that is up that end of this raised bed, and now I'm coming up this end with the other one. So I've got a red goose gog one end and the green in the other end. So this is t'other end. So I've just weeded and forked that and put exactly the same again, put some wood chip down. And there's the gaffer, make sure I'm doing it right. I thought, sod it while I'm there, I'll do the lot. So I've weeded all the way around and put the wood chip down. That wood chip now exactly the same as the pathways on my allotments when I did. I usually get 2 or 3 years out of it before the wood chip starts deteriorating. So that'll do me. Right, avocado. Ben, when he was started this off, and he's got one at his place now down in London, and it is perfect, unlike mine. But he's got his inside on the windowsill, sunny windowsill. But the leaves on it are beautiful. So I'm going to job him, in a sense, chop his head off because he's got a new shoot on the bottom anyway. And now I'm going to keep him. This was Steve's worm wheel gift from last week.
Is it any good, that, Mick?
Yeah, good shit. He asked me for some rooting powder. We used to flog this down the shed, and I found this one out in the drawer. Got it yonks. So I'll give him one of my best packages.
Thank you.
With pie box and sent that off to him. Right, I've got hold of some old paperbacks during the week, i.e. that's quite old in itself actually, because it's not white. But this one is even older. You just open it up and smell it, which is beautiful. And that's the one I'm after. Shredded, no colouring, no glossy. And there's me ripped up Lou Rolls egg boxes. So these lot are mixed together, ready for me composting. Right, this is a photo from the porch, looking up the garden from the porch step. So as you can see, I've just managed to get all those beds in there. That's from as far as I go this end. I think that's about 6 inches from the end there. So that has worked well. And then all my other pots will be going down here. When all my other stuff comes, my fruit trees, which was from the beginning of September. Right, this is a committee meeting, Colligate Gardening Club committee meeting. This was last Thursday. Always have it a week before our general meeting, which is obviously next Thursday. We had a lot to sort out. Main two being 2 large marquees we've got now. We're going to flog one, use them both or what, and we're going to use them both for the show next year, which is going to be good. I'm looking forward to that. And then next one to stock up the training sheds with compost, because that is our main income for the gardening club, and we've done that, but we'll cover that next week. Right, our second guest speaker is Nigel Muddyboot.
Yes.
Are you here, Nigel?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Good man.
Can you hear me, Colin?
Good video.
Yes, I can hear you now.
That's good then. Right, these are just a few slides I put together from last weekend. It was the Malvern Autumn Show. Bit different from normal. Normally this is over 2 days, but because of the pandemic, what's been going on, and the social distancing, they decided to spread it over 3 days. And something that also a bit different, instead of having a massive marquee where they had all the flower growers and that, all them was outside, which I thought personally was better. Anyway, that was one of the gates to get in there. That was on the Friday morning. All sorts of different stalls there, everything to serve somebody, not just garden related. But I think that cow there, or whatever it is, it was about, I think it's about, can you zoom in there, Mick? The price tag's on his back. Is it £3,600?
I'll have it. Where is it?
£3,600.
You can buy a real one for less than that.
You get some mate on that, would you?
You wouldn't be able to sit on him though.
How are they made?
It's. I think it's wood actually, and they just like nail them together.
It's all driftwood, isn't it?
Branches.
Put it on my lot, man.
It's good.
Cool, man.
It wouldn't fit in the boat though.
What if you got a big car?
You could ride that up.
Like them two fighting deers at back, Nick. Nigel. Two deers look at back.
They've got some rabbits or hares as well, like boxing, and all them was quite good.
I'll have the oss at the back.
Yeah. Okay. So all sorts of plant stalls there. I bought bed 4 or 5, but this was a lovely display of cyclamen. We got all sorts, shades and that. Really nice show that was.
Nice bit of colour.
Also on there was there's a display of not only old farm machinery, tractors and that, but there's also little engines and also traction engines. All it's really interesting. Old gardening stuff, lawn mowers and anything like that. It's very interesting to see how these people restore them. That was a traction engine. There was about 5 or 6 of them chugging around. That was really nice. Worth a fortune.
Nice sunny day for it there. Nice.
This was the Friday, but I went on the Friday and Sunday, and both days we had good weather.
Oh, brilliant. Steve, question, mate?
Nigel, you didn't bump into him that does chimneys, did you?
Fred is dead. Fred Dimner.
Is he dead? Yeah,
He died years ago.
He's been dead 20 years.
Well, I don't know. I was put back in womb when I was younger. I blame that.
Fell off a chimney?
Yeah.
He didn't.
And,
man. My favourite store.
Weston's had got a massive store there. It's they're sponsored there every year, and there's a beer tent and everything. And
you have a point, Nigel?
1 or 2. I took a souvenir home as well.
Good lad.
Next one.
Or an apple.
There you go. For Boston.
There's I think there's 6 bottles of vintage for a tenner.
That's good, that is.
It is, yeah. So I took one of them home to settle the dust.
And he won.
That's another one of the fuchsias, and also I've got pansies in there. Like really good stand that was. Hearts Nurseries, if I buy any bulbs, I tend to buy them from Hearts because the quality is amazing. I bought about 40 daffodils, a variety called Tahiti, which is a yellow one with an orange centre. And also I bought 3 big allium bulbs, not the Globe Master, I think it's called Ambassador. But
Ambassador. I sent off for some after I seen your video.
Yeah, the nice looking what's I've still not planted them yet, so I might get them done this week. But Hearts Nurseries, highly recommended.
Your bulbs look massive in your hand. It's like bigger than a cricket ball.
Yeah, all there was, it was like a grapefruit size. Them bulbs are.
Yeah.
This is in the marquee where all the specialist societies are, and that was a rouse. I was walking past and it just caught me on. I thought I liked the look of that and took a photograph of it. Not sure what the variety is, but it looks nice.
Nice.
These are some of the show veg.
Cherry tomatoes.
You can say anything like military style, pristine condition. There's some marvellous stuff there was. That's our mate, Chris Evans.
Chris, good lad.
Chris won with his carrots.
He's like Osmo.
That's the NVS stand what I've got on there. I didn't see him advertising any fast producing compost on this one, unfortunately.
Nah, I don't think you will.
Did you see Mick there?
And there's some not. So the onions there was lovely. The quality onions, really nice.
They were superb.
Who were those? The winners? Nice, you know.
I didn't take much. The display in there is that big. It'd take ages to make a note. I've spent quite a lot of time.
Peter Hoden.
Joined it. It was that.
Right.
That was it, Nick. That's right, Nick. That's DT Brown stand. All their seeds was £1 a packet, and they had a really good. Well, more or less all the catalogue in there. again, another floral display. I was walking past and, that looks nice, and took a photo of that. That's nice display, that is.
Isn't it?
Another one there. Nice colours. And then another selection of roses. Really, I should make a note of these names because we've gone forever now if I would need to buy another rose.
That's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was looking at some of the chrysanthemums, especially the incurves, and the detail it must take to dress them. Every petal was like perfect, and I thought you'd do hours to do one bloom. It would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Dahlia Society, and that's their stand.
Mm.
All glads.
I've seen
Singular beauty.
That's Mick's favourite.
Yeah.
Have you got that one, mate?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm not sure. Bab's Bill or something, is it?
Yeah, Bab's Bill. Nice. I like the ruffled edges.
Yeah.
Gives them a bit something different.
That was just a general shot down the bench. I was expecting to see Nigel there, but
I don't think he does a bit. No, Clash has done it. He was up north somewhere. I know he's putting photos on next week.
okay.
Yeah, it clashes.
Again, you can just so the variation in the carrots there, but really nice.
Him and nice.
I don't know if I put a photograph in here, but there was one at a display, and the judge had done it as not a schedule because the shallots was two of the shots was oversized, and it was a crying shame.
Oh.
That's it. That's the one.
Yeah,
Two shallots.
Yeah.
Two shallots oversized.
Goodness me. What these are in this bottom small tray?
I don't know which one it was.
You don't know.
It would be the bottom, the small one. I'm the 60mm, Mick, am I?
Them are the pickling.
Yeah. Have they got to be 60mm or under?
30mm.
30mm, is it?
It could be any size. Exhibition shallots.
So it must have been the bottom tray, yeah. You can see where it's been ferreting around.
There'll be two of them all.
Yeah.
Goodness me.
Shame, really.
Well, do that again.
Bit like my legs cutting the roots off.
This was the start of the show for me. These stood out above anything else. Holden again.
Peter Holden, yeah.
They are beauties. Look at them.
Grows, just for information, he's got some good stock. I've got some stock off him, and but he grows all these. The reason his onions are so uniform, he does nothing from seed. He does them all from pips. So a pip is is just basically a clone of the bulb that's set to seed. So that's why it's so uniform.
Where's he located, Nick? Which part of the country?
He's northeast England, sort of Newcastle area.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, right. Nice.
Does he sell his pips, Nick?
No.
Yeah. Look, they call if pips come through to the parent.
Yeah, exactly. So you can more or less not guarantee, but you've got a pretty good chat. The trouble is with pips, growing pips, it's very. I've seen a lot of videos of Peter Holden's setup. It's got fantastic setup, lots of polytunnels, all behind his back door, heat cables all the way through, and fantastic grower. Retired but dedicated, and
so Nick, for those pips there, is it like doing the grass from like leeks or something?
Yeah, exactly the same, more or less.
Yeah.
What you tend to get off an onion bow is you'll get, call it 90-10 rule. I think you get 90% seed and 10% pips. So off one head, you probably get about 10 to 15 pips, depending on the year and the pollination. Because you tend to find that the pips come from the real tight centers, not the outside. Is where they don't pollinate, where the plant thinks to itself, "I haven't pollinated. Let's regrow an onion," and they're just an identical. The pips are identical to the plant. So if you had a 10-pound onion, you have pips, you can more or less guarantee you're going to get a 10-pound onion.
So would you be looking at getting the pips off round about now? Would it be, or what?
Yeah, I've taken pips off now. I've got about 12 growing. Got a few that I've got heads off that I'm saving. But yeah, you need to be starting for the big onions. You need to be starting now or in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Thank you for that, Nick.
That's the gladiator stand. I noticed the centre display right under the thing, a couple of the bottom flowers had started to fade.
Oh.
Yeah. But I mean, it was quite hot in that tent actually.
Good display.
Yeah, nice, really nice. There's quite a few of these in this year, unusual. Like mixed veg and that, and nice displays again.
Oh, that's good. Grandma's preserves.
Yeah.
Homegrown. Got a bonsai and all, like it.
Nice celery there.
Collection of veg, oh, look at them. Bloody hell, clean as a whistle. Jesus. Not many people grow celery now.
No.
I think there's one on our site, our allotment site.
I think I'm the only one who grow it on our site as well.
Yeah. We never eat it at all.
There's Reg.
Reg, our speaker.
Yeah, he's a nice chap, he is.
Yeah, he's a good lad. He's the compere, eh? There's the... I've seen him before, I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got many in his audience. I filled that place out last time I spoke there, but it was free.
Gloucester Federation, yeah. So there was quite a lot of specialist stands, like Fuchsia Societies was there as well, and the allotments, stuff like
that. And the Dahlias.
Yeah. That's similar to that one Colin's got, that is, isn't he?
Yeah.
It is, yes. I think it's called Western Spanish Dancer.
That's it, got it, Spanish Dancer.
To mind. And it's spectacular, isn't it?
It is nice. So.
Did you buy the tuber for that, Colin?
I did, yes. From what's it? Jack Gott.
Oh.
I've sent for some more. That'll be delivered in the new year, but that's been a lovely show. And I'll save that tuber and take some cuttings and propagate it.
It's an unusual one and all.
Yeah.
2 colours in one. Is that the poms?
Yeah, lovely, are they? And then we moved across the other side to the giant veg tent, which is sponsored by Canna as usual. 4 world records broke this time with the aubergine by Glaze Brook, Go back a bit, Nick. And then there was I think it was the marrow by Vince, and then I think Joe Atherton did the longest leek and the heaviest bean pod, which I'd never heard of before. But Guinness was there to verify him straight away. Next. That's Dean Hood, if you know from YouTube. He's got a channel, Dean's Lost the Plot. He's up in Blythe, just north of Newcastle. He won with his heaviest cucumber, I think I got surprised. 10.14 kilogram that was, and I think he put about 4 or 5 in, but that was his best effort. Unusual and all, for the heavy cabbage, there was a joint winner, and they was both on 24 kilograms. And one of them was Tim Saint, who Nick might know, and the other one's a chap named Bleak, and I'd never heard of him before.
I met Tim Saint down the Welsh show last year.
Yeah.
He's a good cabbage grower.
Yeah, but say exactly the same way, 24 kilograms each.
Oh.
That was the world record holder for the marrow, and that was 116.4 kilogram.
Gordon Bennett.
These is absolute monsters. These are. Yeah. I think that I got the squash. The pumpkin was 502 kilogram, and the squash was 649.6 kilogram.
How do you get in the fridge after the show?
That's the celery. That was won by Graham Barrett. He beat Ian Hill on that.
Good lad.
He also won the tomato class, Graham did as well. He had his tomato.
Yeah.
That's Carl Robert. I think that looks horrible.
Oh. Looks like an alien.
Looks like Colin.
Thank you very much.
These are the long veg, and they just go on for miles and miles, like 4 and 5 meters. Some of these on the tap roots on them. And there's all the big marrows and lying down like beach whales.
Phenomenal.
It gives you an idea of the big boys on the squashes and pumpkin there. And so every year kind of has this guy who does carves of the pumpkins, and I was having a chat to him, and I says, "Do you work for?" He says, "The army out." He's actually a scaffolder by trade, and he does this as a hobby, and he's there every year, and he produces some marvelous carvings. He does. That gives you an idea of the size of them. Imagine lifting one of them.
Looks like a wig for your nose there.
You get the headache, that was. There's some more carvings he'd done on the canner stand. That's a group of YouTubers on the Sunday. That's the bloke on the left, Nick from Nick's Allotment. Then there's Dean's Loft the Plot. There's me. At the back is Nick from Nick's Allotment Diary, and on the front is Steve from Big Well Green Fingers. That his name is. And there's me and Graham Barrett.
Hi, Graham.
And that's it, chaps and ladies.
Brilliant, thank you, Nigel.
Nige,
hello.
Can I just ask a question regarding, you know, these allium bulbs?
Yeah.
Do they, that large bulb now, does it produce multi-spikes or just one?
It'll produce one in the first year, but it'll increase as you leave it in the ground.
So essentially, you get from one bulb, you'll get one flower, same as a gladi, yeah? Yeah. Okay.
But it will throw bauble type things out as well.
Yeah. Okay. Cheers.
Any more questions for Nigel before he legs it?
Good video, Nigel.
Thank you. Which one?
Oh, the one on your side.
I've put 2 up. I put one on for the show and one on the giant veg as well.
I seen giant veg one.
I put another one up before that, a couple of days before of the show, around all the different stalls and that, and in the floral tent.
I'll go and have a look, see if I've missed one.
Yeah.
Wait till
I've
this
got
is
to give
finished first.
He's what?
Wait till this is finished first.
What's the world? I'm watching.
Cheers, guys.
Pardon?
I'm watching. I'm watching Catherine drink that Guinness.
Guinness?
Yeah,
I'm jealous. Cheers.
proper drink.
Right, top of the garden again. I've got to fill my raised beds. It's been piddling down all night. It has dried up, so I'm going to start off. I've got all my bags of natural ingredients. Most of them which I put in the compost bin. Which I've learnt now, that's the best thing to put in your raised beds. So wood chip in the bottom, doesn't matter whether there's big lumps or whatever. Because by the time these are broken down, whatever you're putting in, the roots ain't going to touch it anyway. Well, what I'm putting in, which is Big Gladys. So they've all got wood chip in. Next one is rabbit muck. So I'm filling the one on the left first and working my way down. Don't forget I like all my different manures. So this has got straw in as well, so that's another good padding for the bottom. It's going to fill the bottom out. So that's my first brew in there. Then I've got my spent tops. Got loads of this. Love using this. Another good natural product. Then I've got my old wood chip mixed with soil. So this was off one of the raised beds down the plot. And I've just dragged a couple of bags of that up. Then I've got my spent mushroom compost. Still flog this in the trading sheds. Something I have by the ton because it is a good seller. It is a good compost ingredient and good for filling raised beds. Don't forget the hardest thing about filling the hardest thing about a raised bed is filling it. Because you don't want to put rubbish in it. So that was the next one. And then the spent peat from my grow bags. This was from my peppers from this year. So I just rubbed out the roots which I saw last year. So a layer that goes in. Then I've got my own topsoil. After that one I've got a mixture of spud compost and spent peat. These are from my spuds I grew in my tubs and my carrots. So that's gone in as well. We then took the dog for a walk. It's getting close to dinner time. Halfway through the walk. Nick, got your hand up, mate.
It's a quick one. Because obviously you've given up the allotment now and you're using a lot of these tubs and pots and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And you're using all the ingredients in that. So the following year, what will you be doing? Will you be removing it or will you just topping it up with compost?
Just top dressing with either my own compost or manure.
Okay.
Nick?
Same as what I do on my plots. My raised beds when I was on the plot, that's all I did at the end of the season.
Yeah, it's just different size scale, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mick?
Yes.
How are you going to produce your compost then now that you've not got a plot?
I've got the compost bin at the top of the garden.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I'd left these bags open because it was nice and sunny. Took the dog for the walk. Halfway around, the bloody heavens opened. I thought, bugger. But luckily, we got away with it. Because when we took the hound, it was a bit higher up. As you can see there, you can see the rain if you've got a good eyesight. Then I saw a little chap. He ain't going to survive. So I picked him up, put him on the grass, being a good egg. Got back, had a bit of dinner, and started filling up again. This one was a bag of loam. I'd had that for a while. Leaf mould. This is a year-old leaf mould. It is beautiful stuff. One of the best things you can make, which is natural. I'm there, just using. What I'm doing now, how else to do it? Nick, mate, yes.
Sorry to keep on leaf mode. So I've had some from last autumn where my land is. There's a lot of trees about, so I can pick up tons of the stuff.
Yeah.
I've just left mine in a bucket, and I actually looked this morning. It broke down, so that will be okay to use now.
Yep.
Okay.
Is it small lumps, large size, or what?
It's fairly small stuff. Yeah. I just left it in a bucket in the corner of the plot, and but
Dry.
12 months will be fine, will it?
Dry, is it?
No, it's wet.
Yeah, it'll be alright on the bottom. Or even if you can wring it out and put it in a bucket and chop it up, That'll be even better. Perfect. Chop it up with head shears.
Yep.
But now, because I've only got me one bin on the top of the garden. That's for my compost, obviously. But I've now got room behind the top of the shed at the back. So when I get me leaf mould at the end of this year, I shall do what I did originally. Put it in bin liners.
Okay, bin liners and just cover it over, yeah?
Just make every leaf is wet before it goes in the bin liner.
Yeah.
Couple of holes in the bottom. Squash all the air out and knot it. After 6 months, it is beautiful stuff.
Okay, cheers, Mick.
I'll cover that one in later on. But leaf mould is one of the best natural products. Well, that's all they use in the forest or the wood, in it. Leaf mould. Next one, this is sheep muck. That was from my mate Gav down Wales. Good lad, good lad. Rabbit muck. And alpaca, the last one, and llama. And this one was that the rock dust? No. That was the sheep muck, yeah. Then the rabbit muck. And that was the alpaca and llama. That was goat muck. Then the hound at the top, I heard a whistling. We've got bird feeders at the top there. It's eating all the bloody seed that the birds have dropped out the bottom. So I'll move them. Leaf mould again. Don't forget, it's just to fill these up. Then there's worm casts. My own compost. Seaweed. I hadn't got much of it. This was dried, shredded seaweed from my mate Gav, again down South Wales. Good lad. But that's the last of it, because I've been using that for the compost ingredients as well. So I used that lot on all of them, and in the end that had twice as much as it did on there. So that's had a bloody good brew in there. Then there was chard. It's a tub out of my mate. This is beetle dung. So that's another good one. And my last one, which I had to go down the shed to get because I'd run out. And if I was still on the plot and I needed some more hoops for my netting, because I'm laying the gas piping again, I'd go and ask him for his offcuts. Give him a couple of bottles of wine as a bribe. That's how I got me piping before. But that's how I used to get it. Because if they've got any offcuts, it goes straight in the bin. So I got my bag of rock dust, bought that back, and each one, well, I've done that one. I'm now working my way down. So that's the last top dressing. As you can see, they are level. But after a couple of good downpours, it's the same every year in your raised bed. If it is outside, well, even inside because it's been watery. Surprised how much they drop down, because everything breaks down. So they're going to drop. So that's that lot done. All I've got to do now is wait for my fruit trees for them to come, and I'll start with that. And my raspberries, then what will go in there ready for next year when they come. And I've got 3 more baskets going on the side of them. My strawberries, but we'll cover them later on. So these lot had a good soaking. And the hound likes the weight and all. And that's soaking. That's why we couldn't get no fuel around here last week. You come early. If you can help anyone out, then do it, as I do. The more mates you have, the more contacts you have. If they crap on you, then sod them off, don't need them. Until next time, I hope you've enjoyed it. Guest speakers next week, we've got Neil Hans, a couple of shows he's been to. Also we got Nigel Coe, he's coming on as well. I think he's done 3 or 4 shows, so I'll have an update on his. Neil, cheers for the red cabbage seed. I posted them out who wanted them. And that's it, people. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you to my speakers.
Well done, Mick.
Anybody got any questions on anything? Catherine, good to see you. Tim.
Are you still running your trading shed? Means you give up your plot, or
Yeah, still doing the trading sheds.
yeah?
I'm just it's now I've always been 100% into the garden club anyway.
Yeah.
So now I'm 110% into the garden club.
Uh,
You're sorting out all this compost and crap.
yeah.
But I still do the trading sheds on a Saturday afternoon. So I'm still on the plot, but only trading shed wise.
Did you have you what did you do with your you had a lovely greenhouse up there, didn't you? Was it Kilda or
My tunnel, yeah, left it.
no? Was it Is it a Kilda?
Eda.
Yeah.
Keda's a greenhouse you want about, Collie?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, well, was it Haymarket? Was it yours, Mick, or something?
No, I'm trying to think.
Hayloft, was it?
I've left it at Many Road.
Bloody hell.
Is Catherine a Newber?
No. I asked him for 200 quid
No,
for everything.
He did. I remember when you had it because you didn't like the size, did you? I remember when you first had it.
Changed the vents, put an inverter mesh around there, Mick, down the sides.
Yeah, I cut the sides off.
Yeah.
If you put the sides down, I'd never be in a position where they'd be down because there's no ventilation whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because the environment they had on the door and the outside, the holes were that small. I even ripped that out and put a larger environment on, so I've got air movement.
Nice.
Thanks ever so much, Mick. Cheers, everybody.
Thanks, Mick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mick. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye all.
Cheers, people.
Thank you.
They're all